Alaska Means Business is an in-depth look at Alaska businesses that help make Alaska great and features business leaders and entrepreneurs who are solution-driven and committed to their customers and communities. In this edition of Alaska Means Business, we visit with Josh Frommer and the staff at HomeWell Care Services, providing personalized home care solutions tailored to meet the needs of any situation, from short-term adult care services to full-time live-in care. HomeWell Care Services handles it all, whether your loved one is in their own home, living with you, or residing in a facility. They can craft an individual plan to meet your specific needs.
HomeWell Care Services is a family-owned business in Anchorage that operates in Anchorage, Eagle River, and the Mat-Su. And we provide non-medical in-home supports to people that are living with disabilities or seniors that just need a little extra help at home with activities of daily living, helping get them up and moving for the day, or keeping their environment up, taking care of their pets, getting them to appointments, kind of helping them remind to take medications and those sort of things. We provide in-home care services. We're helping people with the activities of daily living, so things like bathing and dressing and toileting and transferring and moving safely around their house, getting up and down stairs. We help them with their environment, so we help them with keeping their house clean and cooking their food for them, and we help them access the community, so getting to their doctor's appointments or to social engagements, going out and visiting friends. We take care of their pets. Just kind of anything we can do to keep people on track and allow them to continue to stay in their own home, which is where the vast majority of seniors would prefer to be if they were able. So we help facilitate that. I love working with seniors and I love working with people in the community. I spend a lot of time sitting at my desk these days, but working with people in the community and solving problems and being able to just help people with their real basic needs is really rewarding, and it's a blessing to have that as something that I get to do every day. Yeah, so my mom moved up here when she was just a kid. Her father was with the FAA, and so they transferred him up here to Anchorage, and he worked for the FAA here in town. So she grew up in Anchorage. My father was an adventurous kind of fella, and he decided, he picked up a hitchhiker when he was driving, and the hitchhiker was going to Alaska, and so he decided to continue with this hitchhiker, and they ended up in Alaska, and he has been living here since the early 70s. We lived kind of on the edge of the wilderness, and so I could wander off, and I think the biggest danger we had was wildlife, and we would it was a dirty, not running water outhouse kind of a childhood for the early part of it, and I think it was awesome being able to grow up in a small community. Arts and science and religion were things that people did, and so I was exposed to a lot of that kind of stuff. Music and the arts in general was really promoted in that area, and I was able to be on the football team and in the band at the same time and still be at least moderately cool. Yeah, well, earlier on I wasn't on the varsity team, so we'd play, so I'd be in the band, but then once I got further into high school, I was more on the field than in the band, but if it was a sport I wasn't playing, then yeah, I'd be playing in the band. Sure, so I went to school in Fairbanks for a year. I was pursuing a degree in history, and couldn't stand the weather up there. It was far more challenging than where I'd grown up in Homer, and so I moved down to Anchorage. My family had moved to Anchorage the day after I graduated high school, in fact. And so I've been in Anchorage since then, 1995, and I started off just kind of doing jobs, and then I started looking for careers and ended up in the insurance business. And the insurance business was just kind of getting involved with long-term care insurance, which is one of the main funding sources for the business that we're in, and so I was given a lot of statistics and details and information about this product that was needed and the amount of seniors that were going to be moving through and needing care in their homes. And I didn't particularly care for selling insurance products, but I loved serving people, and I felt called to service. And And so I presented this idea to my parents, who had the money and resources to make this happen, which I didn't at that point in my life, and they agreed it was a good idea, and so off we went. And we had considered facility care or another version of it, and this was a version that was cost effective. It was a low risk business to get in, pretty low overhead initially. Our resources that we needed weren't goods, they were staff and people, and so we sort of got into the hiring business and the looking for client business, and just kind of trying to figure out how to make all that work and put them together, and so that was 18 years ago. Well, we've sort of expanded. Initially we were just taking private pay, so we had people just that were paying for their own care, and then we worked our way in with the VA and worked our way, got through the licensing procedures to be able to work with Medicaid clientele, and we've expanded our area. We had to kind of retract a little bit. We were down on the peninsula a bit, all kind of working out of headquarters here in Anchorage, but yeah, it's, there's some differences in the business now. I would say, we've been bigger than we are now. We've had some challenges since the pandemic as far as just being able to find enough people to work. And so we don't do as much business as we did 3 years ago, but we're slowly kind of building that back up and look to kind of get back to that level and probably remain there. We're not looking to get too big. Sure. Well, our staff members are caregivers. That's what they do. They're people that are service oriented, that like to have some flexibility in their schedule. They like working one-on-one with people as opposed to working in a larger group setting. They're caring and compassionate people. They're people that can pass background checks and that stay maintained on things like CPR and first aid. Yeah, they're moms and daughters and sons and husbands and everything between. It's just, never really know.
So I actually moved up to Alaska about 3 years ago. My father was going through stage 4 cancer, and I wasn't even familiar with the caregiving world at all. And after working with him, I realized it's something I might like to do long term. Applied here, then got hired on in the office, and now I get to oversee other people doing it. People. Yeah. Working with people, talking with people, making their lives better, best as I can, and getting out and meeting them. I was born here, and then moved away when I was young, so. Mountains, temperature, snow on the roads, not so much, but some of the best views in the country.
Yeah, I've actually been here for just over a month now, and I've really been enjoying the community and being able to send out caregivers out into the community to help people who need that sort of caregiving and the love that we can provide to make sure they're healthy and safe. And just the overall temperature and fun here at the office is just a blast, and everyone has a lot of fun, and it's great to bring that sort of security to the community. Absolutely, this place is fantastic. For the time I've been here, they've been supportive and fun. All the caregivers have been very responsive, and it's a blessing to be here.
So as far as the type of people that we're looking for to come in and work for us, we've had registered nurses as caregivers that just want to give back to the community. We have a lot of folks that are PCAs, personal care assistants, or CNAs, certified nurse aides. Those are kind of the typical designations here. We have a lot of folks that are just caregivers, that are experienced caregivers, empty nesters, people that took care of their parents, that haven't gone through certification programs, but that just have a heart for the type of work that we do. But yeah, so the primary education standard for this industry is PCA or CNA. We have some folks that are also CMA, so medical assistants. That job would allow them to do things that are more medical, like drawing blood and those sort of things, but they just like working here and picking up some time where they get to go visit and make a difference in an elderly person or a disabled adult's life. Absolutely, we're always looking for more people. There is an unmet need in our community right now. There's no doubt. We don't have the ability right now to work with everybody that calls us and asks. So we are always looking for people, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, we need people. We need workers in Alaska. You know, I see it around town. There's help wanted signs in most businesses still. I think it's kind of getting better than it was perhaps a year ago. And I think, you know, more businesses are open more hours now. We're up about 15-20% hours over what we were, you know, kind of 2 years ago when we were really struggling with finding people, and a lot of people weren't working because of school closures and you know, family needs that were going unmet, you know. So yeah, I think we have a staffing issue. I think we have a worker crisis in Anchorage, and hopefully we're moving in the right direction in that regard. Well, we've got geographical challenges. You know, HomeWell is a franchise business, and so I do have opportunity to talk with people that run HomeWell franchises in more densely populated areas, and a lot of their areas are limited to, you know, several square miles of a densely populated city. That's their territory. Our territory is essentially, you know, all of the Kenai Peninsula all the way up to the other side of the Mat-Su Valley, and so we've got some geographical challenges here. We don't have the traffic challenge that they have down in the States, but getting up to Hillside, for example, to take care of many of the folks that we take care of requires a four-wheel drive vehicle. You know, there's some people that we have a real challenge getting staffed and serving that are further out in the Mat-Su, out in, you know, Big Lake and those kind of areas. It's more challenging for us to find staff and be able to put people there. So we have geographic challenges here. We have weather-related challenges that impact parents, and you know, our employees have to be able to take their kids to school or daycare. They have to be able to do those sort of things in order to fulfill their commitment to their work. So we have a lot of snow days, a lot of times when you know, families have to stay home with their kids because schools are closed. I think those are really the biggest challenges that I see here. Yeah, well, you know, it's the last frontier. I don't think it's the same way as it is in New York. You know, when I visit with the HomeWell owners from New York, they've got a more aggressive sales approach than we do here. You know, I think we're a little bit softer touch here as far as doing business with people. I think Alaskans want to do business with Alaskans. I think a lot of us know each other. That's pretty nice. You know, I have a most traumatic day at work, and it was the day that we had that big earthquake in November of 2017. You know, it was a all hands on deck. All of our employees had to go home and take care of their kids. We had 150 clients in the community that we didn't know exactly what state they were in. Everybody in the office was running around town, getting people out of bed, checking on people, making phone calls, triaging everything that we could do, and really kind of put off dealing with our own lives and our own houses, and it was the most stressful day of my professional life entirely. So I would say that the best day was maybe the Monday following that, when things were sort of returning back to normal and we had survived it and overcome such an incredible challenge. Well, gosh, what's next? I'm not the world conqueror. You know, I'm not the guy that's trying to start 15 businesses. I'm gonna stick with this one, I think, until retirement. I got another 15, 20 years in me, I think, before I'm gonna be ready to be done. So, you know, continuing to build the team. That's really what's next for me here. You know, maximizing the amount of help that we can do and the good that we can do in this community, and continuing to be an employer that people want to work for, and being a great place to work, offering good opportunities to people and a great service for the community.